On a beautiful day in the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio, we go live. It is the Back Row Cincinnati Bengals show, all brought to you by fansided.com. I am your host, Josh Miller. So much is happening across the league and NFL free agency. And I got to tell you, it is a phenomenal time to be a Bengals fan. They not only are they coming off of a incredible, against all odds Super Bowl run, the Bengals added to their offense to a point in which they have fixed their glaring hole. And the sun is out. It's 65. It's sun's out, guns out season. And who else would I rather have on during suns out, guns out season than Jeff A. Trenopole, Strawberry Ice, the man with a Westside point of view on all sports. He's going to come on here and we're going to talk a lot about our Cincinnati Bengals. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Good, Josh. What's going on, brother? I don't have the guns out. I got the long sleeves on. So
You got the long sleeves on. Come on,
yeah,
man. You gotta flex a little here.
yeah. If I flex too much, then I'll start scaring people, and then I just don't want
Hey,
to do
man.
that.
Hey.
Like, oh
Jeff,
my god!
Jeff, it's been a long time since you have been on here, and today a very huge part of the offseason moves that the Bengals have made in terms of not play on the field happened today. It seems as though Elizabeth and Katie Blackburn, the queens, the blood queens that have been out for literally all heads, are doing something that the national media has been begging Cincinnati to do for the longest time. There's rumors that they are looking to build a practice facility near Paul Brown Stadium. Jeff, can we finally say there is nothing more to trash the Bengals about, or is there still plenty more?
No, if we get an indoor practice facility, I'm not sure what you can make fun of us about. I mean, to me, it's the same news that they've said before that I've heard before that they're going to try to build it over where the gravel pit is. That's
Mhm.
where I think it's going to be. But as far as I know, the city had to move it and all this other stuff. So maybe that's out the door. I don't know. Maybe because she said they're looking for sites. But yeah, I think it's a good thing because they need to have an indoor facility. And what I like that Katie said was, like, are you doing this because are you trying to attract more free agents? And you say this after we just got fixed our offensive line. So the indoor facility had nothing to do with us attracting free agents or not. And she said no. And that what they asked is it that or because you want to play longer, into February and stuff like that. She goes, yeah, because we're going to play longer. Because she didn't say this, but the Jack by Joey Burrow effect is changing the way they're thinking that they're going to be playing in the February and it's going to be cold and they don't want to be out there practicing in the cold. So
Do
get
you
ready for
think?
that Super Bowl run. We got an
Hey, you
indoor
brought it.
practice.
You brought up a good point there, Jeff. So obviously we talk a lot about the Burrow effect, and you and I both know it's incredibly real. I mean, we're seeing it in our free agent pickups. You're seeing it in getting guys that we normally don't get, or we're being aggressive and we're doing things differently, and there's a whole different vibe. Do you think that this indoor practice facility happens without Joe Burrow as the leader of this team? I mean, it didn't happen when Andy Dalton was here. It didn't happen when Carson was here. Do you honestly think that Burrow, not maybe Burrow probably didn't outwardly say anything, but do you think they would do this with any other quarterback?
No, no, I think this is the Joe Burrow effect. I do. And no, I don't really think Joe Burrow has come out and said, hey, you guys got to get a practice facility or I'm
Right.
out of here. I don't think Burrow said that. I don't really think Burrow said anything. I just think the fact of the matter is that they did try to practice in
Mhm.
February and preparing for a Super Bowl. And the reality is they're going to be doing that multiple times with Jackpot Joey Burrow as their
Jackpot Joey Burrow.
quarterback. So the reality is they want to win a Super Bowl. They don't really want to bust all the way up to UC all the time. I mean,
Mhm.
it works. You can do
It's
it.
beautiful campus.
Yeah. But if you have one right across the street, you just walk across the street and go to your own practice facility and there you go.
That's true.
And like you said, literally there would be absolutely nothing for anybody to make fun of us about, except for that we haven't won a Super Bowl yet, which that's
That's
coming.
next. So
That's
that's
coming.
next. So that's next. I mean, we're just keep checking boxes off the list over and over again. That seems to be the last box that we need to check off to really be taken seriously as a franchise in the national media. Now, real quick, I want to take a quick second here. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that's listening in on Twitter. Thank you so much for listening in. But you could go to YouTube, you could comment, get involved with the show, ask us questions. I mean, we already have a lot coming on. Crypt Keeper, Haas Hoskins coming on, getting ready to talk with us, engage with us. And, if you disagree with us and think we're idiots and stupid, please comment. Let us know. We love that. So, Yeah, definitely go over to the YouTube channel. Same thing, the Back Row Bengals, the Back Row Cincinnati Bengals show. That's where you can find it. But Jeff, yeah. So again, so it's the last box you need to check here. Now, obviously, there was a big glaring hole in this last year's Bengals team, and obviously, it was the offensive line. Huge glaring hole. And even with that, I was listening about Mo Egger talking about Zach Taylor. It's just Zach Taylor was able to take that team and take them to a Super Bowl and come back against an Arrowhead and come back against the Chiefs and win in Tennessee. And that's a huge credit to Zach Taylor. But now with this glaring hole fixed, where do the Bengals need to attack to next? What's next?
As far as positionally wise, you're asking?
Whatever you would like, Jeff.
Well,
It's your
I mean,
show, man.
positional wise,
Your world. I'm just living in it.
position wise, it's either cornerback or three tech. But as
Mhm.
far as look at it this way, the play calling, the what it opens up for Zach Taylor is immense.
Mhm.
With this offensive line being fixed,
Mhm.
with Jackpot Joey Burrow coming back healthy, not have to worry about his knee. There's so many things that Zach had to coach around last year that it's gone. When they
Yep.
completely and utterly fixed the offensive line, we literally went from one of the worst offensive lines to a top 10 offensive line in a matter of 2 weeks. I mean,
Right.
it's unbelievable. So as far as that goes, what the impact is on that team and on the impact it is on Zach Taylor and what he can do moving forward is ridiculous. But
Mhm.
the next thing I think the Bengals need to do is we got to get a cornerback, and we have to get a
Yep.
three tech, and then draft for depth. So I kind of answered it both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And you make a great point there. As somebody who, I mean, full on disclaimer, and you know this, we've had plenty of arguments about it, of Zach Taylor's questionability on his play calling, and now being able to have that freedom to be able to do those 5-step drops, to do those 7-step drops, to have long delayed style of plays really does open up this Bengals playbook. It's almost like we're just seeing it. And I did a little bit of a rewatch of the Super Bowl as I've been doing because I have just been so bored. I mean, I've been studying a lot for my OAEs. Got my next one on Saturday, but
Ooh.
we don't talk. You know what play never gets talked about enough is Joe Mixon's touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. But now you can do things like that. You could do special trick plays. You could do misdirection, and this opens up a whole oyster for Zach Taylor. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
It
Or
really
you can look at it this way: is you don't have to do the trick plays because you have a good offensive line,
also true.
And Joe
Also true.
Mixon can just run the damn ball. Because that's the other thing is everybody keeps talking about Zach Taylor, and I brought it up, and Joe Burrow having this
Mhm.
offensive line. How excited do you think Joe Mixon is? He has never, I want to say it again, has never had a good offensive line to run through.
Never.
He can actually make his first cut past the
Mhm.
offensive line.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
run right. He can run left. He can run up the middle. He can run wherever he wants because
Mhm.
there's going to be holes for him to run. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a breakout year as well. And not that we're going to become a power running team. We're going to throw the ball all over the place. I think,
Yep.
but just the I will say this: it's not the amount of times that Joe runs it. It would be the quality instead of the quantity. The quality of the
Mhm.
runs that Mixon will get now that he did not get before is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, and then it opens up the play action, and
Yep.
it's all a domino effect. So now the teams really got to respect the run. And now what are you going to do? Now you have to pick in which way the Bengals are going to kill you. It's basically all right. Are we going to use a gun? Are we going to use a knife? Are we going to use a noose? But instead, are you going to use Mixon? Are you going to use Jamar Chase? Are you going to use T Higgins? Are you going to use Joe Burrow on his legs? I mean,
Mhm.
I was watching some Joe Burrow highlights, just watching him dice up Pittsburgh, and I watched him just how incredible his movement is and his decision making is just as a second year quarterback. And so when you look around the league and you look at the AFC and how great they've got, and the AFC has definitely picked up a talent.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's JV versus varsity.
Yeah,
AFC is a varsity, NFC is a JV.
it is, man. It really is. And you wonder why it's like, why are all these quarterbacks coming over here? Because I'm not scared of anybody in the
Well,
league. And
of course,
I'm really
neither is
not.
hardball. Neither is hardball. He said that at the owners meeting or coaches, whatever the heck they have down there in California. That he's not scared. And one thing I took it this way, Josh, is I'm like, why are you saying that? I mean,
Mhm.
people who say I'm not scared usually are scared. There's a
Yeah.
reason you're saying it. I
You
think
don't have
he's
to say it.
scared. I
Mhm.
think they're all scared of the Bengals because they're like, okay, they kicked our ass last year and they didn't have an offensive line. Holy crap. What are we
Right.
going
What
to
are you
do
gonna
now?
do? What are you gonna
Right.
do? And Charles brings up a good point. He's been really engaging over Twitter, so I appreciate that, Charles. Charles made a good point. He said I feel the moves made by the AFC teams are because they are scared of Joe Burrow. Now, I am in total agreement with this. If you look back to what the Bengals did in the previous 2 years with their draft, you and I both talked about it over and over again. What did the Bengals draft to do? Stop Lamar. So now the rest of the AFC is trying to follow suit and follow suit. There you go, Josh. Follow suit and then basically take out what are they going to do to
They want to
stop
stop
Joe Burrow?
jackpot.
Yeah.
Right.
So in your head, I'm gonna make you play devil's advocate here a little bit.
All right.
You are the defensive coordinator of the other team. What are you gonna do to stop the Bengals offense?
Ooh,
How do you
that's
stop the
a
Bengals
really good
offense?
question. Well, if it were me, I would definitely go after trying to make them run the ball on me as much as I could. I mean, I would rather do that
Mm-hmm.
than having them pass all over the place on me. But I don't know how you can do. And things you want to get. They say you want to get uh, pressure on the quarterback. Oh, Joe Burrow has done really well. You know, we all saw the Jacksonville thing. You can't zero me.
You can't zero me.
So it's really difficult for me to sit there and say, okay, you stop him from this, and then you got to make him do this. Like for me, like I'll just put it this way for Lamar Jackson. I'm like, all right, his weakness is staying in the pocket and trying to make accurate throws. That's Lamar Jackson's weakness. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
got to try to do him. Joe Burrow, I'm not saying he doesn't have a weakness. I'm sure there is one. I just don't know what it is
Yeah,
because
right.
he's such an accurate passer, and that's the one thing when he came out in the draft, like, oh, his arm strength isn't that great,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a accurate passer, and that is more important to me than anything else. Being an accurate passer is more important than running around making plays,
Yep.
than throwing the a ball a million miles an hour. If you can throw the perfect pass where your guy's getting it or nobody's getting it, it's hard to defend that.
Yeah.
So it's real. I don't know, to be
Yeah.
honest. I don't know what you would do to stop it. You just got to figure, all right, we're not going to let you do this. And we got to hope to
Mhm.
God that we can stop you doing the rest of it, I guess.
So I mean, going off of kind of what you said, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hard offense to stop. So I think personally, I'm going to take a Lou Anarumo type of esque defense to stop the Bengals. So, in the way I say that is, you make them play the long game. You don't
Mhm.
let them have explosive plays. You don't let
Right.
them have 30-yard plays. You give them that 10-yard. You give them those 10-yard plays. You let them get down to the red zone because again, one of the biggest flaws of the Bengals offense was their red zone offense and not being able to punch it into the end zone, and it killed them against the Rams in the Super Bowl. After that second interception that we had the ball in the 40-yard line. You put a touchdown in there, it's pretty much ball game at that point because the Bengals defense is feeling themselves. It's over. But they couldn't do that. They got stalled.
Well,
So
that
what
comes
you're going
again
to
to
have to
the.
do
Go ahead, sorry.
you- well, I was to say what you're going to have to do is shorten the field against the Bengals,
Mhm,
and you're
mhm.
going to have to make them make tight window throws. You're going to have to make them make those back shoulder, just really hard plays to make in short field situations. Now, again, that could be completely different this year because of the offensive line. Now, this gives the Bengals some running room
Mhm.
inside of the red zone. So I that's how I would stop them. But you just don't know with this new
Right.
regime at offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, and that's what a lot of the problems, a lot of the issues I think with the red zone opportunities last year were. Well, we just look at the Super Bowl. I mean, they just flat out just blitzed them because there's
Mhm,
when you're down in the small area, there's not a whole lot of places to go. I mean, there's not,
mhm,
so it's you got to be quick. It's extremely quick on your decisions and your route running down there because they didn't have that much time. This year it's going to be different. They're going to have time. They're going to have holes. They're going to have holes to run through. That's the other thing.
mhm.
They couldn't barely run the ball down there because it was so hard to run it because they couldn't get any holes. And that's when it's short yard situation, you're gonna give the ball to Mixon a lot more than you used to and have him score. So his touchdowns might go up this year because of that.
That's
So
correct.
that's again where I'm like, I don't know how you're going to stop this team because
Mhm,
you couldn't stop them last year. Unless they stopped themselves, which means what I'm saying that is the offensive line was terrible. And
mhm.
yes, you're right. The red zone, we were awful at it.
Yeah.
But I just think it's going to clear up a lot this year because of that. And I agree with you. You got to keep them in front. Don't let them have the explosive plays, which, again, That's easier said than done. You think Jalen Ramsey was trying to keep them from having explosive plays with a
Mhm.
crappy offensive line and one of
Mhm.
the best cornerbacks in football, and he couldn't do it? So
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying, Josh. I'm not saying we're going to go undefeated. I'm not saying we're going to, we're going to win everything. I'm not saying we're going to
Yep.
win Super Bowl. I'm just saying it's really going to be really damn hard for anybody to defend us right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this brings me over to the next point. Let's talk Vegas. Now, as someone who's a gambling man, and I am, and we are going to take a quick pause for a new stop here. I am going to basically I'm going to show you guys this shirt. Tell
Uh-huh.
me who this is, not you, Jeff. If you could tell me who that is, I will shout you out on my Twitter and I will give you a lock of the night this weekend. If you can tell me who that is. So you have to be watching the stream. I'll give you one more look. Well, the name's on the front. So we're gonna cover the name. Who is that? That's all you gotta tell me. Who is that? You can do it in the comments, you can DM me, anything. But you can do that. I'll give you a shout out on my Twitter and a lock of the night. And I'm gonna give you my own lock of the night. Seattle Kraken is at Vegas. I love the over 6 in that. Love the over 6. Got a lot going on with that. And Crypt Keeper, oh, he spelled it wrong. So no, it's still not there. He spelled it wrong. No, it doesn't count. But
Oh,
anyway,
you got to be technical about
we got to
it.
be technical about it. But anyway, Haas Haskins, you can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them, and it starts with doubling Jamar Chase. Now, obviously, you and I both talked about. I
See,
mean, he's just a generational talent.
yeah,
We are looking at the new Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. We are looking at the new Tom Brady. I mean, we are. It's the new historical, Brandon, To and home, To and Montana. I mean, it's we're
Bryce,
looking at
Montana.
Bryson Montana. Whatever.
Yeah.
Shut up.
But I mean,
But
yeah, you double team him. You still got T Higgins on the
still
other
got T
side though. I'm
Higgins
like, go
around.
ahead, double him.
You got T
He'll
Higgins.
kill you.
Again,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
it just goes back to the point of having T. Higgins as your number 2 wide receiver is such a blessing that a lot of teams around the league have no answer for. And that not only do they not have an answer for it, they don't have anything that's even come close to it. I don't know. I really don't know another receiver tandem in the NFL that is even close to the Bengals receiving
No, well, they're both number one wide receivers. They both are. I mean, if T
tandem.
Higgins was on any other team in the NFL, he'd be a number one wide receiver. That's why I don't like calling him a number two. I think it's a 1-1A. They're both number
Mhm.
one wide receivers.
Crypt Keeper gets the answer. He will be sending me his lock of the night that I will be putting out either this weekend or this week. Congratulations to Crypt Keeper. It is Rob Zombie, my favorite of all time. But yeah, absolutely. So again, let's go back to the Vegas odds.
Mhm.
Vegas puts the Bengals at fifth best odds.
Now, what
They're
this was this
also
before the offensive line or after it? Or is this
this was after the La'el
right?
Collins sign. And then also on top of that, I just want to brace you. The Cleveland Browns have the same odds
Mm-hmm.
as the Bengals do to win the Super Bowl.
Which I don't get that because Deshaun Watson is most likely going to be suspended
He's
for a
not even
couple
going to
games.
play.
Well, he's going to play, but he's not going to play every game. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, that doesn't make that makes literally makes no sense to me. I mean, he's not. Anyway, that's just whatever. That's. I mean,
Well,
now
no,
look,
yeah,
I
absolutely.
I agree. I agree. As far as football goes, Sean Watson is a hell of a quarterback, and I think they've completely upgraded the quarterback position. But he's not going to play for. I don't know. They're going to suspend him for 3, 4, 5, 7
Yeah.
games. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
but
you're going to have a backup quarterback. So yeah,
yeah,
those
so
those
let's
odds are going to change. I'll tell you
yeah,
that.
I also want to address the Browns by let's take Deshaun Watson just completely out. Let's take him completely out of the equation. Let's talk about the Browns, them and of themselves. They lost Jarvis Landry, who was basically a backbone of their offense.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to even come close to they weren't even able to make the playoffs with an incredible defense. And so that goes back to Kevin Stefanski is how good is he really? Because honestly, you saw some game time decisions. He wasn't great. You saw he wasn't able to take a team that had a flaw, which was at the quarterback position, but great everywhere else. He still wasn't able to do anything with that. So I don't understand why everybody's so hot on the Browns. It's still so hot on Kevin Stefanski when all he's done is had 1 year where he surprised everybody in the league and just handed it off to Nick Chubb. So now what are they going to do again?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't get why everybody. I'm with you. Why everybody's on the Browns again? Because I mean, let's just look at the wide receivers. They got Amari Cooper.
Okay, I'll give it to him. Amari. Okay.
And
Right, exactly. And what?
who
Right?
else?
He's not better than T. Higgins. He's not
No,
better than Jamar Chase.
no.
He's. I mean, you can make an argument that Tyler Boyd, when Tyler Boyd's number is called, Tyler Boyd's better.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm like, okay, you got him. Like, and you know, I mean, yeah, you got your tight end back, which is cool. That's great.
Yeah.
But who else you got? I mean, you keep trying to get all these players that don't want to be there. you know, that's
Absolutely.
where I'm like, I don't like. We have, and this is why we have the best threesome right now. The Cincinnati three-way, I think, is Dan Horde was calling them,
Oh, that's pretty good.
and Jackpot Joey Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Uno.
Mhm.
T Higgins, sorry, and T Higgins. Those three right there are going to flat kill you. They're the best tandem, the best threesome
Did
in
you just
in
drop an
football.
F-bomb? Did
You
you
know?
just drop an F-bomb?
No, I said the best threesome.
No, no, you I heard you. I
I
heard
didn't
you.
say that.
Now, I will say this. If T. Higgins is gonna drop 85, and that's fine. That's fine. Let him make his own
Yeah,
thing.
85.
But I would say Tyler Boyd would have to drop the 83, and he would have to go to 3, so that way it's 5-1-3. I mean,
I would love
it's
that.
perfect.
But he can't.
It's
But the thing is,
perfect.
Tyler Boyd can't do that now. I mean, he can, but it won't be till like next year because I think
Yeah.
that's why T couldn't do it last year because he had to tell them they were going to do it. Then they got to sell all the jerseys they can of
Yeah.
85 and get rid of
Mhm.
or whatever. It's a whole big long thing. So
Right, yeah.
I've said that the 5-3 boys, I would love that, but I don't think Boyd is going to. And if anybody's going to switch to 3, it's probably Jesse Bates because that was his college number.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's talk about Tyler Boyd a little bit here.
Right.
Now, I know we've been having a lot of very positive, very happy talk. We're gonna kind of get not sad, but it's just something we have to address here. So in 2023, we're gonna have some contracts coming up. Tyler Boyd's gonna have his contract coming up. So is T. Higgins. Um, basically, wait, that's not right. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Um, let's be honest. Tyler Boyd's not getting a third
No.
contract here. No.
No,
So
Boyd's not getting a third. I've said this on my show. Boyd's not getting a third contract, and Joe Mixon this is his last contract too. And I love Joe Mixon, but
mm,
I don't see them
no,
re-signing him again. Those two, I don't think they're going to resign.
right, right, and that's okay. That's the way. That's the way of the game,
That's
and
that's
the
what
way
you
of the
do when you
game.
have
That's
when
what
you
you
have a
do.
championship talented team. That's what you have to do. It
Right,
sucks. I hate it,
right,
but it's a business, and that's
mhm,
what you have to do.
right. So now I want to take that back kind of into the draft here. So now with the Bengals being so good in free agency and being able to fix that glaring hole that we needed, you look at the possibility of drafting a wide receiver and possibility of drafting a wide receiver in the first round. And the beauty of going so heavy in the free agency, it allows the Bengals to do that. So if you were to kind of take a look at the wide receiving room, or just through where we are picking, are you okay with the Bengals taking a wide receiver in the first round?
Not if Booth is sitting there, the cornerback from Clemson.
Hmm.
Because look, the one thing about this draft, and it could be this draft and every draft, the wide receiver is always going to be a deep position,
Hmm.
and the Bengals do a really good job. Other than John Ross, we'll keep that one of but they usually do a really good job of drafting wide receivers in later rounds.
Hmm.
And they are not afraid to draft a cornerback in the first round. And I really do think, but just my heart of hearts, I think it's going to be 31 is going to be a cornerback, or they are going to trade back. That's what I
Trey
think.
Bed.
Yeah,
Okay.
because what my philosophy is, we need to get as many multiple picks as we can because of what we just talked about. We have Joe Burrow, we have T. Higgins, we have Jamar Chase, all these
Mhm.
guys, big contracts coming up soon. So we have all these guys that sign in the free agency. Their contracts are be coming up, and we're not going to resign. We'll resign some of them, but we can't keep everybody. We just talk about
Sure.
mixing. We can't keep mixing. We can't keep Boyd. So
Right.
yes, they will draft a wide receiver, but I think it's going to be in like the third or fourth round. But the
Yep.
thing is, I think this draft should be a defensive heavy draft to not replenish, but get depth in the defense for when these guys we can't keep them. Like Jesse Bates, you never know. He might not be this might be his last year as a Bengal. I know they can franchise tag him next year, but
Mhm.
you never know. And so I would not be surprised if they draft a safety in this draft too.
Yeah. Yeah, Haas Haskins brings up a great point here, and it's a question I want to ask you because you're pretty heavy on Booth, taking him in 31. Do we take an injured Booth Jr. over a healthy cornerback that's not ranked better than him? Now, I mean, I have always, especially in the Bengals' history of drafting players that are coming in with an injury, I do my best to stay away and try to go for as healthy guys as possible. So in my decision, I think honestly, I'm more rather than taking Booth at 31, more than trading back and getting probably a cornerback that's either, probably not, definitely not ranked as high, but probably still within, with some work can get there. And I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati man himself, Kobe Bryant,
Yeah.
obviously in the
Oh
second
yeah.
round.
We're
I
on the
would
same page with that.
love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to ask you that. Would you still take him even with the injury?
To be honest, it depends on what his injury is because I was not aware that he got an injury. To be honest, so I have to see what the injury is and when he's going to come back. Like people talk about ODB, the guy from Michigan. I
Hey,
can't.
thanks, Foxy.
By the way,
Appreciate it.
yes, it's me, dude, right here.
He said he was just kidding. He said he was just kidding.
No, he's not.
Love
No,
you,
he's
guy.
being
He
serious.
said he was kidding. He said he was
serious.
kidding.
He just said that to make you feel better.
Oh,
But no,
he said it's 'cause it's my show.
he's gonna hang up on me.
Yeah,
But that's what some people say. Odeby or how you guys say the guy's name from Michigan, the one who tore his Achilles, and how he was,
That's terrible.
Terrible. It's awful. He was a very high pick. They're going to be. Do you take him at 31?
Speaking of which, this does go back to our conversation where we had of Kayvon Thibodeau of backing out of some of the combine drills. I mean, there's a great example of that dude tearing his ACL.
Yeah, but that was at pro days.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't want to bring it back up. I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention it.
You
Anyway.
can get. I mean, the thing is, you can get injured walking down the street.
Yeah, well, you could get injured doing the 40, which
right.
John freaking Ross here.
Right. So,
yeah. So, but I really am intrigued with the idea of taking a wide receiver early, and even at round at 31.
See, I don't know why you take him early because there's so many, and
there's a lot.
It would be our fourth wide receiver. That's why I'm like 31 is not to me is not a position to take a wide receiver. It's all right. I got one for you. This is what I've been putting this up.
Go ahead.
All right, with us of signing the signing of Ted Karras, and Ted Karras can play center and both guard positions.
Mm-hmm.
If Linenbaum, I'll try to say his name right, keep messing it up. Linenbaum, if he is there at 31, are you taking him and moving?
Yeah, absolutely without
Thank
question.
You.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I don't know anybody who wouldn't. And I'm not saying Linenbaum is going to be there, but I mean he might drop because of his short arms. But people still have him ranked pretty high. I mean, some people have him going to it, some people don't.
Sorry, I interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
But I will say this: the signing of Ted Karras, I do think prevents the Bengals from making a drastic move towards Tyler Linderbaum. So
absolutely, yeah,
you're probably not going to be trading away very much.
No, that's. I mean, honestly, if they don't get Linderbaum, I am fine with either Deontay Smith or Jackson Carman at left guard. I'm fine with it. I mean, like we have.
I don't know if we're fine with it, but
I really do think they will be fine.
I'd love it for them to be fine.
And dude, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna say this now. I would not be surprised if Deontay Smith beats out Jackson Carman because I know Fred Pollock likes him a lot, and Deontay Smith, he might have got some more playing time at right tackle last year.
They like Deontay.
If he gotten hurt, he had not gotten hurt. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they. But I mean, let's just look at it this way: we're talking about one spot that we have to address with two guys who have already played a lot last year compared to what we had, going into last year. You know. So I'm honestly, like I say, I'm fine with it. I am really fine with it. I think it's gonna be good.
And then also on top of that, another full offseason of training and technique and now competition and workout. So I mean, it's just they're gonna be such a different team by the time we start in August. But yeah, no, it's if Lindenbaum's there, definitely I say you take him either way. I mean, he's going to be a great center in the league for a while, and giving competition to Ted Karras and letting him learn behind Ted Karras there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with having Ted Karras can help him make the calls too.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, it's a win-win situation either way. But I really don't. I honestly do not think Lindenbaum is going to be there. I really don't. Yeah. I don't think any of the offensive linemen we want is going to be there. I don't think any of the three techs are going to be there. That's why I really think it's going to be a cornerback. And the more I've seen more guys, we talk about, you and me love Kobe Bryant, and the more draft experts I've read or looked at, they have Kobe more as a third round pick than you and me do. We think he's a second round at least.
Yeah.
So if he's at third round, I'm taking him. I don't.
Oh
care. I'm taking him.
Yeah, but the problem the Bengals are going to face when it comes to probably drafting Kobe Bryant, because Kobe's definitely without a question on the Bengals board. They're
Oh
definitely
yeah,
looking at without question. Jim Thorpe Award winner. He was the tandem to probably one of the best secondaries in college football. And I mean, and Sauce isn't going to be there. He's not going to be there as
no,
much as we'd love it.
I
He's
that's
not
not
going
happen.
to.
And the Bengals are not going to trade up to get him.
Now, here's another question. This is the biggest hypothetical here, and
Mhm.
and trust me, I'm sure I already know the answer, and I don't think it's going to be possible. Sauce is there, Lindenbaum is there. Who you taking?
Oh, I'm taking Sauce.
Yeah, I am with taking
I'm taking
Sauce without
Sauce.
question. That
Yeah,
dude's a generational corner. He
yeah.
is.
That's the because we need a corner. We don't necessarily need another off. We really don't. I mean, if you really,
Isn't that
we need
weird to
a.
say? You're
Yeah, I
right.
know.
You're right. Isn't that weird
How
to
cool
say?
is that?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Right. Last
We
year,
are.
I'll be like, oh no, we're taking Lindenbaum. Yeah, I love Sauce, but
Yep.
we gotta get to the offensive line. No, this year, if that happens, which it won't, we're
Mhm.
taking Sauce.
We are
Uh,
drafting for depth here. We're
right,
drafting for depth.
exactly. I think really the only need we have two needs really is cornerback, which could, it'd be a guy who could potentially be our number two. I mean, or work his way into number two because it might be Eli Apple, and then Caesar
Oh,
rolls on maybe
yeah.
whoever we draft could work his way in there,
Right.
and then we need another three tech. That's really the only needs that we
Mhm.
have. The rest of it is going to be depth, and that's what is so awesome about what the Bengals did is they fixed the offensive line, and we got depth.
Yeah.
Haas, go ahead,
Yep.
you can read it.
Haas Hoskins coming back here again. He says, I like to see Smith and Carmen hold down the left guard spot, but pro re-signing Quentin Spain if they don't get one of those three interior offensive linemen in the draft. Okay, so yeah, it does go back to a guy who was not only great on the field, but great off the field and great for the unity with the offensive line. Again, say what you want about how bad they were, and trust me, they were bad, but they played good enough down the stretch and really never gave up and gave a lot of times towards the end of the game where the Bengals showed up, and Quentin Spain had a lot to do with that.
Mhm.
I I am not as pro re-signing Quentin Spain as a lot of people are. I think it is time to move on. He is getting a little bit older, and I do think we can get somebody else with that type of money. So I am not, unless it is very team friendly, I'm not for signing Quentin
I'll put
Spain.
it
I'd
this
rather
way:
go get somebody else.
my personal opinion is I don't think if we resign Q, I don't think that's happening until after the draft. They got to find out
Yeah.
what they have and if they need another guy and if he's willing because he would be the backup. I mean, he'd come in here and compete for
Hmm.
left guard, but they're going to want Jackson Carmen or Deontay Smith
Absolutely.
to win that job unless those two come here and completely fall on their face, which I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I hate to see it. And the thing is, even if we don't get the top three guys, they're going to draft offensive linemen down in the lower round, which they need a swing guy. They need a guy who can play tackle and play guard.
Yep.
That's more of what they're looking at. And Quentin Spain, honestly, isn't that guy. He's a guard. He's
It's a
not.
guard.
He's not a swing. Jax
Right.
Carmen is a guard. The only one that's a swing is
Yep.
Deontay. So you need
Mhm.
another one. Isaiah. I think Prince can play guard. I think he can swing. So you need another swing. So
Mhm.
that's where I think that are more likely to draft an offensive lineman later rounds for that reason.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So I want to shift over from the offensive. I mean, I guess we're kind of still saying on the offensive line. I want to shift over to another big move that happened with the Bengals. The Bengals do lose C.J. Uzama to the Jets, and then but we pick up Hayden Hurst in which when the pickup first happened, I'm like, okay, well we filled that spot. It's still not going to be great, but okay, we filled that spot. Let's take a look at tight end in the draft. Then I started looking at numbers of Hayden Hurst compared to C.J. Uzama. Hayden Hurst, in terms of receptions, in terms of pretty much everything, Hayden Hurst is far better.
Yeah.
So we upgraded in one of the big things that I think the Bengals really needed to do was attack the tight end position because as much as we love CJ, and let me get this straight. This year does not happen if CJ is not the tight end of this team.
Right.
He's
Yep.
not.
Agreed.
He has meant so much to the Bengals organization. He's stuck it out. He's been the number one, media guy for the Bengals, and I love CJ, and I always will. However, he had flaws. He was not available in the passing game when we needed him. He dropped balls, and he disappeared in the red zone, which was a big problem. So then Hayden Hurst comes in, immediate upgrade. So do you see this as more the Bengals getting an upgrade? And I'm talking all aspects, not just CJ's on-field presence, but his off-field presence as well. Is this still an overall upgrade?
I think it's an
It's a hard question.
it's a hard one because CJ is a
It's what
much
you
better
said.
blocker than Hayden Hurst is. It's not even close as far as that goes. Hayden
Mhm.
Hurst is not a good blocker; he has to get better. But Hayden Hurst is such a better route runner and such a better receiver than CJ is. I mean, you can actually split Hayden Hurst out wide, and,
Mhm.
and he can run wide receiver routes. He's going to be a huge target, I think, in the red zone, which we've all talked about. That's what we want the tight end to be. My biggest question, I've said this on here. So, yeah, I think it's an upgrade to certain extents, but there's
Mhm.
parts we're going to miss. We're going to miss CJ's leadership in the locker room,
Yep.
a tremendous guy, on the mic, in the media. We're going to miss that part. I don't think it's going to affect the team that much
Mhm.
because we have guys that can step up. There's lots of leaders in that locker room.
Absolutely.
So yes, they're gonna miss it, but somebody else I think is going to step up. The part that just boggles my mind is why in the hell did CJ Uzama go to the Jets? Because everything that I've read and people I talk to that know more than I do say that the contracts were very, very similar. They're damn near the same thing.
Mhm.
Why did he go to the Jets? And then the Jets turn around and sign Conklin, who, in my opinion, is better than CJ. So CJ left a team who went to the Super Bowl where he was the number one tight end here to go to a team that sucked. It might not be
Sucked.
that they beat us. Yes, they beat us. Might not be that good this
Freaking
coming
Mike
year.
White.
Has a quarterback you don't know anything about. You left Jackpot Joey Burrow, who you had a connection with, who, let's
Mhm.
be honest, Joe Burrow made CJ Uzama. CJ Uzama didn't get a whole lot of balls thrown his way until Joe Burrow got here. You left all that
Yep.
for the same amount of money, basically, to go to New York. For what?
I'm
I'm
right.
perplexed.
Well, so I mean, there is a lot that could be going into it. It could be some off the field stuff. Now, Lap, as much as we love Lap, as much as we love, he made a terrible call in saying that him and Kay Adams are for sure dating, and then this whole Twitter thing blew up. And I feel bad for Lap because maybe it wasn't the right wording or something like that. Whatever. Um, but I mean you and I both talked about this, that one of the reasons that CJ could have been going there is because maybe it's time after, he's done with football. There is definitely a spot on ESPN or Fox football or
But there's
anywhere.
multiple Bengals that are in the media. Salma
I
Wilcox,
I'm
Boomer
not
Esiason,
I'm
Chris
not saying
Godwin.
it's
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's the right I'm
yeah.
not saying it's
I
the
mean,
right decision. I'm saying that could be one of the reasons of why. That's
but
what
it
I'm saying.
doesn't. That's why I'm not disagreeing with you. And people have told me that. I said that makes no sense.
Mhm.
None of this.
Mhm.
What he did makes any sense. And he goes there. I'm so excited. And I watched a little bit of his press conference. I'm so excited to be here. Really?
Really?
What? What?
Are you?
Like why? Why are you excited to be in the jet? You just left the Super. I mean, it just. I don't know.
I
And
don't
I'm
know.
kind of to the point where I'm kind of like, was all this love and this? I love this city and I love these
Yeah.
fans and I love all this and Cincinnati's my type of city and blah. I'm going to take a bath in Chile if we win the Super Bowl.
Mm.
And you just leave? Was all that fake? Was he real? I don't know. That's just because if it's the same amount of money, Josh, and you love it here so much, and you went to the Super Bowl, why the hell would you leave?
Well, I mean, yeah, trust me. There's a lot of questions that we're never going to get the answer to,
Oh no,
and
I know.
and yeah, so it's just one of those we're going to lose to the ether. But at the end of the day, Bengals get an upgrade in terms of receptions at tight end, and that was the biggest problem. That was one of the biggest problems I believe on this offense, and now it's been solved. So again, it opens up this draft so that the Bengals can pretty much do whatever they want. I
Mhm.
do think I do think then one of the next spots that's going to be more important than a lot of others think is that I do think we do need to draft a punter this draft. I do think it's time for Kevin Huber to move on, take
Oh,
a different role, maybe a special team.
Matt Ariza.
We're
I wrote
loving
I
Mattery
I
Arise.
wrote an article on him. It's on my blog. You guys go check it out.
The
Sports Strawberry Ice.
blog. The
Yeah,
blog.
Sports Strawberry Ice blog. It's on there. I want this dude. And people are like, oh, we have Hayden Christensen or what? I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but this dude is a generational punter. I mean, I know people are like, why are you get so excited about a punter? Go look him up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go watch him punt. It is ridiculous. He will be on his feet will be on the end zone, and he punts it to the 5-yard line, and then he's the first one down there to lay somebody out.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
ridiculous.
As somebody who, as two people who watch the Bearcats very, very closely,
Mhm.
watched what a generational punter can do for your team. I mean, Mason Fletcher, one of the guys, he's a freshman. He was a freshman last year, and during the UC Alabama game, and again, if you just look at the score, you don't really know what happened in the game. But
Right.
Mason Fletcher had some amazing punts that really pinned Alabama back and really helped this UC defense, and he's been doing that all year. To have that on the Bengals team would be just another weapon that you can have. I mean, again, we talk as much as I love Kevin Huber, and he's a Cincinnati guy, UC born and bred, another one of the alumni, and you know how much I love keeping him in the city.
Right.
But
I'm with you
it's
on that.
time. But it's
Yeah.
time. He's been here for a decade.
No,
It's time to
yeah.
move on.
And the thing is, just because you draft a punter doesn't mean you have to keep him. I mean, you could always have a competition. If Huber beats him out, he beats him out. But
Mm,
I just this kid is he's Evan McPherson, but he's a punter. I mean,
mhm.
that's what a difference maker that he can make. And people will say, "Well, he's a punter. Is it that big of a deal?" Yes, if you
Yes, yes, it
if
is.
you can flip the
It's huge.
field
Mhm.
and get yourself out of a jam that somebody got in and the punter can flip the field on you, hell yeah, it is.
Field
It's a
position,
huge
yeah.
advantage.
Yep, especially in the NFL when the running clock. I mean, the field position is insane. Now,
Right.
so now I want to. So we've covered quite a bit of Bengals. Obviously, if you're coming on here during the offseason, we gotta talk some Bearcats here. Have to talk some cats. So I mean, the Bearcats here coming off of the season where they make an historic run, obviously. And I had, I kind of had a thought, and we can wrap the Bengals into this too, of expectation. So now, what is the expectation for this Bearcats team? Is the expectation to come back and yet again have another undefeated season? I do believe, in terms of paper, in terms of opponent, in terms of where they should be, yes, I do think the expectation should be an undefeated season. But in football, my God, is it hard to win? It's so hard to win, and we know that. So, do you still expect this team, with how hard football is? Do you expect this team to be undefeated and make another run?
Um, the expectation is there, yeah, because that's what they've set it up as. They've been undefeated for 2 years.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's well, in the regular season, I should say, preface that. To be undefeated. So yes, that is the expectation. That's the standard that they've set. Are they going to obtain it this year? I don't know. It depends. It's going to be a lot. Depends on how the quarterback play is. I say this all the time. It comes down to the quarterback play, and
Hmm.
we have two guys battling it out to be the next quarterback for the University of Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yep.
I think that's going to have a lot to do with determining that. And it's not only that. I mean, how many guys we got going to the draft? We got what, 7 to 8 guys
7 to
probably getting
8.
drafted early to play in the league next year.
It's 7 to 8 on the pro day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys to try to replace. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of talent leaving the Bearcats, but there's a lot of talent still there. So it's just a matter of, will these guys step up and keep it going? But yes, the expectation is yes. That's the
Hmm.
expectation. That's the standard that they've set the last 2 years. So yes, I expect to go undefeated. Now, if we were heading into the Big 12, no, no,
Might be a
but
different story.
but we're in the American Athletic Conference. So yes, I expect that. Now, or if we go undefeated this year again, I don't expect us to get into the college football playoffs. I just don't
That's a
think we're
different story. That's
yeah, I
the
don't
yeah.
think yeah, I don't because of they will look at the talent on the team and what we lost and all that stuff. So I don't think that is going to happen. But I do think if we go undefeated, we will get a New Year's Six bowl again. I do think that's in the cards. So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I'm trying to lower the expectation, but they're still high. We have high standards. So undefeated season and a New Year's Six bowl game is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, now you've opened up a can of worms. I was gonna get into specific players, but now you've kind of piqued my interest on one thing. So let's just say for the sake of argument, the
Mhm,
Bearcats do yet again go undefeated. They
mhm.
win their American Athletic Conference championship. They have the road win against Arkansas. They run the table yet again. How do you keep them out of the playoff when they've just went back-to-back seasons with 12 wins?
Well,
13
because
wins, excuse me, 13.
yeah, I mean, look, I hope they don't, but just kind of what I said. I mean, we don't have yes, Arkansas will be a big win, but it's not going to be like going to Notre Dame and winning.
Sure, absolutely.
It's not the same value.
Yep, Yep.
So that's a big difference right there. The other difference is they're going to look at the team. They're going to look at the talent on the team. Now, if they're going out and completely destroying people
Mhm.
and blowing them out, then hell yeah, it,
Yeah.
it, it depends on the wins. But
That's yep.
excuse me, sitting here on March what is that 31st or
It
30th?
is the March
March
30th.
30th,
You ready for them
2022.
taxes, y'all?
Yes, sir. They're getting close to my birthday month, by the way. Just letting you know.
Hey, happy
It
birthday.
starts in April. I'll be 47. I'm getting old. Um,
47.
I know. I'm
That's
hanging out with
crazy.
all these young guys. All you young guys do this podcast. I'm the old guy who does one. So getting back to my point. As of March 31st, 2021, to me, like I said, I expect to be undefeated. But to go to the playoffs, they're going to have some blowout wins, like
Okay.
everybody, because
Yep.
there isn't that signature win on there. Arkansas is good, but
Yeah,
Arkansas is not Notre Dame.
I
It's
agree.
not. So, and it is an SEC, so it would be a high win, but not. I don't think the same because we backed that up with a win to Indiana, which as the season went on, it probably wasn't as good as a win as we thought it would be at the beginning of the year. So who knows? And maybe Arkansas takes off, but they are in the SEC, and
Right. They're
you know,
usually towards the bottom. Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that it all depends, but it's all in the Bearcats' hands. I mean, it is.
Mhm.
The last 2 years have set them up for success to be able to do this again.
To do this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's just the continual. So again, on my rewatch list, I've thrown a lot of Bearcats big moments, especially from this year. I rewatched all the Notre Dame game, which again, if you haven't done it yet, do it. It's just it makes your heart. It's like a feel good movie, like those
Oh yeah.
movies that you watch around Christmas time with your family.
Oh yeah.
It's literally exactly that. You see this contingency, and I think another reason why the playoff committee did not wanted the Bearcats in because they knew the fan contingency was going to be incredible. Because if you just look at the Notre Dame game, I have never seen and will never see Notre Dame Stadium quite taken over just like that. Any sort of play that the Bearcats had, it was really like a home game
Mhm,
if you weren't
mhm,
looking at the stands. And then when you look at the stand, you look at one side of the field, it's all red.
mhm.
It's all red. The Bearcats fans had themselves a hell of a year and they deserve every bit of compliment that they should get. And I also think it is a giant reason why Luke Fickle is still here and why he signed an extension, why it doesn't seem like he's going to go anywhere, why he turned down going to Notre Dame, even entertaining the job, is
Mhm,
because he knows that this fan base is completely behind him. And let's be honest, you go to the SEC, you go to the Big Ten, you're going to get killed by media. The fans expect winning right now. The Bearcats fans know that as long as Luke Fickle is wearing that headset, we are going to be behind this team 150%. Even if they lose, we're still there. And Luke Fickle's not going to have to face music quite like he would have to in the SEC or the Big Ten.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one other thing I wanted that you had a good point there with the fans that showed up to Notre Dame. Just a hypothetical scenario. Just say
Hypothetical.
UC went to Notre Dame and they won like they did,
Mhm.
but the fans didn't show up.
The fans didn't show up.
Do you think we get into the college football playoffs then?
I don't think it's as big. I mean, do they win in the same exact fashion in which that they did?
Yeah, win the same exact fashion, but but there's barely any Bearcats in the stadium. It's all Notre Dame fans.
So then that brings up the argument of, okay, well, the fan contingency, obviously. I think there's a lot of arguments behind it. I still think they put the Bearcats in, especially since the Bearcats later sold out the rest of their games. I do think that, but I mean,
I don't. See, I have no idea. I'm
listen,
just yeah.
it wasn't nothing.
No, no, yeah. Mhm,
Nothing. The college game day, which was on my real watch list, also wasn't nothing.
mhm,
Being able to see
mhm.
10,000 people, the largest contingency in all of college game day history, to show up, and the scene that it was, and your boy getting on TV. I'm just saying. And then
I was there too, but I was in the back. I
you
was
didn't
in the
get up
way
at
back.
you didn't get up at 4 in the morning with the rest of us diehards.
Well, I did, but I had to go to work.
Mm.
So I
Working
was
man.
already up when you guys were doing that, but I couldn't get there until
Working
later.
man, working
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I know you only got so much time. I guess I'll get about 10 minutes with you. So let me see what I can do here. So rewatching the Bearcats, who is really good that we have not been giving enough credit to is Deshaun Pace. that dude looks like he is NFL ready now, and he's coming back for another year. I think that
And his
defense is
brother.
going to be, and his brother. I think
Yep.
that defense is going to be scary, scary, scary back-to-back years.
Oh yeah,
Terrifying.
that's why I think we have a chance of going undefeated again because the defense. Yes, we're losing a lot of guys, but there's a lot of talent still there.
A lot of
So,
talent.
and I'm kind of happy. I don't know about you. I'm kind of happy we have a different offensive coordinator.
I am too.
To
I
be
am
honest,
too.
I'm happy.
It's
I want to see.
pretty.
I want to see a change. I want to see something different.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. We are my biggest thing that I took away from the college football playoff was the offensive coordinator was not working. Mike Denbrock was not working. He never played to Desmond Ritter's skills. Now he wanted to make him more of a pocket passer, and that is fine if that were to work. But it had times where it did. It had times where it didn't, and he never adjusted. He
Right.
never adjusted. Like when
He
the
didn't adjust
Bearcats,
to
yeah,
game scenarios at all. Really, that's
there
what
was no
drove me
adjustment.
nuts. Yeah,
Yeah.
like especially when we had these games against Tulsa and South Florida and stuff, and they were doing stuff different. We never made the right adjustments in the offense, and I'm like, what the hell are we doing? If I can
Mhm.
see this on TV, why can't you see it?
Right. Yeah.
That's where I don't think he did that. So I mean,
Roll him out.
yeah,
Roll him out for the love
right,
of God. Roll him out.
right, exactly.
The one I want to bring up here, Chris Boston, I think is his last name. I forget the guy's name, but he writes for someone for UC. But anyway, he said that he went to the recruits, excuse me, the recruits spring practice.
Right.
He said the guys, and this is after years of recruiting and at the highest level. He said the guys are coming in. Oh my God! He said they are just NFL size. They're huge. They're huge, and that is just such a credit to what this program is offering and attracting now. It's incredible.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about this too. And the thing is, you brought it up earlier about Luke staying here and signing a contract. There, I think there is something to the fact that this fan base is all bought in, and
Mhm.
he's right up there. Him and Zach Taylor are the toast of the city right now,
Mm.
and there's a chance
I'm
that
sorry. I'm sorry. Did you just say the toast of the city?
yes, toast of the city. It's an
Is that a
old saying.
thing?
Yeah, I'm an old guy. It's an old saying.
Oh,
Anyway, shut up a second. So,
all right. All right. Okay.
if Luke Fickle continues to grow this program and gets into the Big 12 and wins the Big 12 championship, and who knows, wins the national championship, he's got a damn statue out there.
He probably already does. Let's
Yeah,
be
I mean,
honest.
do you think just for instance, you think if he goes to Ohio State and he wins a national championship, he's getting a statue there, and he's going to
No.
be held as high regard as he is here?
No.
No,
No,
the,
we're gonna rename the field after him. It'll still be
the damn
Nippert
stadium.
Stadium, but
It's going to be Fickle
it'll be
Stadium instead
Fickle
of
it'll be
Nippert.
Fickle Field at Nippert Stadium.
Right?
I'm calling it. I think
Yeah,
that's exactly what it's gonna be.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, those are the things that if the money is pretty damn close, which from what we've seen, the money's pretty damn close. I mean, I
It's
know
getting better.
it's getting better. If he wants,
It's getting better every year.
if he wants to go to Notre Dame or something like that, we'll never be able to touch it. Or we just won't be able to touch it as far as the money goes. They have they have way too many big money boosters than the Bearcats do.
Yeah,
That's
but
just a fact.
they can't recruit, man. They can't.
Right.
You watch Brian Kelly, who many regard as one of the greatest college football coaches of all time.
And his family.
And it's his family. But he wasn't able to. I mean, Notre Dame and UC were kind of recruiting around the same level.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
and that's insane to say that we are on the same level as them in terms of recruiting. And honestly, we're kind of locking down their state more and more. That Cincinnati radius that we've been talking about forever, that Luke
Mhm.
Fickle ingrained in the team when it was 4-8, just keeps getting bigger and
Mhm.
bigger
Mhm.
and bigger and bigger, and we're locking them down. We're locking down guys that would be going to a Power 5 school, and we're taking them. Those are our guys.
We're taking guys from Ohio State too.
Yeah.
Just put that out there too. We're not everybody's going to go. Oh, for Ohio, I'm going to go to Ohio State. No, no, no.
No.
I'm going to go down to the Bearcats.
Bearcats.
Especially like I said, especially when we get into the Big 12. That Big 12 is so huge, and I would like I said, out of all the conferences, that's not the one I wanted to get into because it's so far away from us. But I'll take it because of what it means for the football program. Not necessarily the
Absolutely.
basketball program. Basketball, you could be in the American and you can go to the dance and you can win a national championship, and it's not that big of as big a
Ticket
deal.
sales are going to increase. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
For
true.
basketball.
Oh, dude. Okay, we can talk about the basketball conference real quick. How that is going to be freaking legit. It's going to be the best basketball
They
conference
better catch up.
around.
They better
So I
catch up,
mean,
man.
so Wes Miller has got to get his stuff together here and get some better guys in here, because if not, we're going to get our asses kicked in basketball. We're going to do some of the ass kicking in football. Well, basketball, he's got to step his game, which I think he will. I'm not too worried about it. You really got to give a college coach at least 3 years to really put their stamp on it. So we're in year one. So we'll see what happens. But my point is, going to the Big 12 is going to make that loop, that fence around Cincinnati, even bigger than it is now, because now not only do you have a chance to go to the NFL, you have a chance to win a national championship and get on national TV, because that's what UC is going to do. Because look, the American, we're on ESPN Plus. I mean, the Big 12, they have a national contract. We're going to be on ABC, NBC, or not NBC,
every game.
ABC,
Every game.
CBS. Yeah,
every game.
We're going to be on ESPN on big, especially if you are ranked in the top 10, which the Bearcats should be.
Yeah. I really like it, and yep, absolutely, and I really like this. And then I have one more question for you, and then I'll let you go. I one comment, and then a question, then I'll let you go. I really like this guy they got coming in, Luther Richardson. They think this dude is going to be better than everybody else that has been before him. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's a low 3-star. You can't really find him on social media. He doesn't have any social media. He's from Tennessee. I think he won Mr. Tennessee last year from being a quarterback. I think this guy is going to be the next. I mean, he probably will be the next Tony Pike. I mean, in terms of accuracy and ball placement, in terms of style of play.
We still have
like.
Evan Prater too, the Mr.
We
Ohio,
still have Mr. Ohio, man.
Yeah, so
who's
I'm
currently battling
right
for the spot.
I'm hoping he wins it, because he's Mr. Ohio. He's supposed to have been this 5-star recruit, blah blah blah, and just because his hair is awesome too. So
his hair, he's got great hair.
He's got great head of hair.
All right, so I got one question for you, and then I'm gonna let you go. So besides Desmond Ritter and besides Sauce Gardner, who is most likely from last year's team going to be up in the Ring of Honor?
Ooh. Wow. That's besides those two?
Besides those two, because Desmond's an easy one. That's an easy
Desmond's easy.
He'll be up there.
You could say Kobe. That'd be the next one. Possibly Alex Pierce.
Alex.
Sorry, I always do that. Alec Pierce. Yeah, that's Brooks, and probably those two. I would think Kobe or Alec. I would think that they would be the next two. Who you got?
I would say Kobe. I would say Kobe's probably my next one. You can maybe throw in Majay Sanders. I do think it's going to be depending.
Majay didn't have. If Majay actually got the sacks that I think he should have got in the season, yeah, I would put him up there with that. And if he did that, he'd be higher ranked as far as getting drafted too, I think.
I would say let's see what he does in the NFL. I think if he's a huge talent in the NFL, which I mean he has the build for it. He put on 20 pounds from combine to pro day, and so I mean if he's able to go do that, he's able to go do that. So that would be great. But Kobe Bryant's probably my pick. I mean, Jim Thorpe Award winner. You really can't even.
I called it on Twitter. I said, call my shot. I said Kobe Bryant's gonna be a Bengal. So
I'd love it, man. I'd love it. Keep that boy in the 513. Keep Alec Pierce in the 513. Let him stay here. Let him build a legacy. Jeff, my man, it is always so great to have you on. Can you please tell everybody where they can all find you, and please shamelessly plug yourself?
Absolutely. You can find my podcast / YouTube show. The channel is Cincinnati Sports with Strawberry Ice. I go live every day, Monday through Friday. Yada, yada, yada. You can follow me there on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. Podcast, same thing, Sports with Strawberry Ice on Beanpod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. I also have a blog that I just put out. It should be under Sports with Strawberry Ice blog. I had a couple articles I wrote out there. I haven't wrote anything in a couple of weeks, but if you guys are interested, you can check that out as well. And if you want to sponsor my show, DM me sometime.
At Jeff A. Trenopole on Twitter. Strawberry Cincinnati Sports with Strawberry Eyes. Jeff, man, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh. It's always a blast, brother.
Always a blast. Now, I will say that this was one of the highest viewed on YouTube episodes that we have had. I'm not going to say the exact number, but I really appreciate all of the live comments and all of the engagement. I greatly appreciate it. And let's keep it rolling, man. This has been the Back Row Cincinnati Bengals show, all brought to you by fanside.com. I am your host, Josh Miller. Find all the podcasts where you can usually find all the podcasts. Hopefully next week we'll have some more Bengals news and maybe another signing, maybe some more draft talk, and we'll be right back at it. Again, from Jeff H. Trenopole, Strawberry Ice, and Josh Miller of the Back Row Cincinnati Bengals Show, thank you all so much for listening. Have a great rest of your evening. Hooday! I'll catch y'all later. Peace.